25 years ago, Tom Cruise shot to fame with a box office sensation, Risky Business, playing a teenager dabbling in the world of prostitution. Since then, his movie career has thundered along like a rocket-powered DC-8. Tom Cruise dominated Hollywood and even towered above Oprah. Or as ABC Nightline put it,
the face of an impossible missions force agent, fearless Top Gun pilot,
coming in ice, I'm coming in.
And relentless lawyer.
I want the truth!
Soon he'll hit the big screen again as the face of everybody's favorite Nazi. But who is the real Tom Cruise?
In recent years, Tom Cruise has also become the face of Scientology.
I'm a Scientologist.
You don't know, and I do. I think that you should be a little bit more responsible.
Matt, you don't even, you're glib. They said, so, like, have you met an SP? I looked at them, you know, and I thought, oh, what a beautiful thing, because maybe one day it'll be like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe one day it will be that. Wow, SPs, like, they'll just read about those in the history books, you know? Period. And am I gonna look at that guy, or am I too afraid, because I have my own out ethics, to put in someone else's ethics? And that's all it comes down to. Because I won't hesitate to put ethics in on someone else, you know? Why ask permission? We are the authorities.
That's right, folks. Tom Cruise has gone from risky business in the movies to the real-life risky business of Scientology.
On any subject, people should really find out for themselves what it is rather than listening to cyber gossip or hate mongering, which is really the kind of thing that's going on.
On that point, help us to understand something about the church. And this is what this group Anonymous is protesting. They claim that the church separates family members. And there is this practice of disconnection. You remember the Church of Scientology, and someone in your family or a friend or your spouse is skeptical or critical of the Church of Scientology, you are supposed to disconnect yourself from that person. And Jenna Miscavige-Hill, who is a niece of the church's leader, David Miscavige, says that happened to her, which is the reason she left the church a couple of years ago, and she now has a website bringing together former members of the Church of Scientology to talk about issues like this.
Here's the thing. There's a lot of people out there talking about what they say Scientology is. People should go online, check out the videos.
Jenna says it was the explosive new best-selling book by author Andrew Morton that got her to speak out. Scientology is featured prominently in Morton's unauthorized biography of Tom Cruise. After its release, the church issued a statement denying it pressures members to break contact with family who leave the church. Jenna says she knows otherwise, citing the case of a pregnant friend, a former Scientologist, whose parents are still members.
She lives in LA. Her parents live right around the hill from her. You know, she tried to call them when she was having her first child, and they were like, no, sorry, I can't speak to you.
This is my son, Zachary Aaron, if you know where he is. Try to convince him to get in communication with me. The church should not prohibit him from communicating with us. This is harmful, not only to the situation between us, it's also harmful to the Church of Scientology, because they're building a reputation as house wreckers, home wreckers.
Tonight on Nightline, Scientology under attack. A wave of websites, videos, and protests turns a critical eye on the celebrity-studded church. Now this niece of Scientology's worldwide leader, raised in the church, tells Nightline why she left and why she's joined the protests.
Now Anonymous is taking its battle cry to the streets. Last month, about 7,000 people protested in cities across the globe.
That's all we are. We're people who've seen this and said this isn't right.
But what started as a battle over internet freedom has evolved.
To me, it's not even a church, it's a business. It's a money-making, pyramid scheme business.
Bernie Headley is not afraid to show his face or talk about his almost 30-year experience with Scientology. His kids Mark and Stephanie worked full-time at the church by the time they were 15 and 17 years old. They worked up to 90 hours a week for almost $45 a week and little contact with the outside world.
It traps them. They don't think they've got anywhere else to go. And literally, when my son left, it was, Dad, help.
Others who worked in the church tell similar stories on message boards for ex-Scientologists. A Kansas woman who doesn't want her name revealed wrote to me that she and her husband recruited new people into Scientology. She says it costs up to $400,000 to reach advanced levels in the church, but church staff don't have to pay. So people join staff only to find themselves working almost 80 hours a week, making $70 a week. If they didn't get enough new recruits, they'd be reprimanded, humiliated, and denied food. She and her husband were too afraid to leave. Quote, "You are told when you leave or even just think of leaving that you will most certainly die either of illness or accident or both." They escaped in the middle of the night and came home to family in Kansas.
But if you leave, you have to pay it back. And they slap you with what they call a freeloader debt, which is thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Headley's son is now an outspoken critic of Scientology. Since leaving the church, Mark and his wife now have 2 children. Headley is a proud grandfather, but his daughter Stephanie has never met her nephews. She hasn't talked to her father in 3 years. He doesn't even know what city she is in.
By helping my son, I lost my daughter.
When he helped his son escape, he was labeled a suppressive person, an SP. No one in the church can have contact with an SP. Headley spends a lot of free time at his computer searching for his daughter. He says he's not speaking out against religion. He's speaking out against the policies that ripped his family apart.
If people want to believe that, fine. But they shouldn't be forced to, and they shouldn't have to pay to do it.
There is this assembly of people who've come here to speak out against the crimes of the Church of Scientology. Oh, yeah. And that is something that I know about firsthand. I was born into the Church of Scientology. You may have heard about my father. His name is John H. Boucher. He died May 5th, 2001. He committed suicide because he was convinced that he was an SP. And that is a suppressive person, which is the worst thing that you can be in the Church of Scientology. He spun into it. He believed that story. He believed that he was SP. He believed that there must be something wrong with him because he's not getting up the bridge. And that's what they tell you within here. The tech is perfect. The auditors are perfect. The problem is you. We don't have anything to do with it. It's always you, 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 you. Who's the SP in your life? What have you done? What are your overts and withholds? And they check you like this. It's called a gangbang sec check. Right. You get 5 or 6 auditors, and my dad suffered this. He started to spin into this, and it really had a severe effect on him. He stopped eating. He stopped going to work. He couldn't sleep. He sat on the sofa and cried all day. And you know what their answer to this was? B12 vitamins. Take some B12, John. It'll be all right. Well, it wasn't okay. The very first day we ever left my dad alone, he killed himself. So I want to say thank you very much for breaking my heart.